Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Jenn Espinosa Goswami. She is a certified public speaking coach who helps service-based entrepreneurs leverage their leadership through paid public speaking. Welcome, Jenn. How are you doing today?
Hi, Brad. It's great to be here. The sun is shining and I am hydrated, so we're ready to go.
It's always a good day when the sun is shining and when we have hydration. So I am so excited to jump in and share all about the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you're doing and share a little bit about your story and your journey. So with that being said, let us jump right in. How long have you been working now as a public speaking coach?
I've been a coach for about 10 years now, but I jumped into public speaking coaching in the last 4 years or so. So sometime during the middle of the messy pandemic, I decided I was done with health coaching, which is where I was firmly entrenched. Okay. And I reached a point in my own personal life where I no longer had interest in coaching people around, mostly weight loss when it comes to health. But at the end of the day, I discovered that most of my clients were working on confidence building when it came to their lifestyle. So I said, okay, confidence. Okay, who else needs help with confidence? And that's when I seized upon public speaking coaching, especially for service-based entrepreneurs. Having been an entrepreneur myself for many years, I knew that it was a challenge for me to make connections. I attended all of the networking events, and I feel as an introvert, I didn't thrive in all of those networking situations, but I do thrive as a public speaker. And so I know that other people can take this skill set, anyone can learn it, and make waves happen, whether it's with getting more clients, getting paid, inviting people to their community, or just being able to share your message in a powerful way. So that is why I love public speaking coaching.
Beautiful. And so you said you're working in the health space, but what were you doing before you made the jump into entrepreneurship? And what was the catalyst for that shift for you into entrepreneurship?
It's kind of funny, Brad, because I was in the investigation side of compliance-related work in financial service companies. Okay. So I'm in the U.S., so Wells Fargo was the main company that I was doing this work through. But I was working with CIA, FBI, doing both internal and external investigations, and mostly around white-collar crimes. Okay. So we're talking identity theft, we're talking mortgage fraud, all of those kinds of things, which was interesting enough that I did become a certified fraud examiner. I'm very much into certifications and brainstorming with different people in the industry. Unfortunately, it was a job that I just kind of fell into, and I reached a certain level of expertise in it, but the business is up and down, and I no longer wanted that kind of lifestyle for myself. So I said, okay, what am I really excited about? And luckily, my work required me to participate in professional development on site. And there happened to be a Toastmasters group there. So I jumped right in. I learned all about public speaking, and I fell in love with it.
So Toastmasters was your gateway drug into public speaking.
Yes, it gave me the courage to leave corporate because I never imagined that I would leave corporate for any reason.
Yeah, beautiful. And so what drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do?
I don't know if you ever watched Dora the Explorer. I know you're a dad, but if you've ever watched that show, one of the things she says all the time is, and my daughters have been compared to her physically, but she always says, I will never give up. Me. That describes me. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I try things out, I experiment, I explore. So I'm kind of like a mini Dora the Explorer in some ways. And all the time I'm saying, Udemy, please help me out, Peter. I
I
can't
love
figure
it.
it all out.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I want to jump into the whole coaching thing. I've heard a lot of people, a lot of women that I speak with who are coaches, that most coaches, if not all of them, have been through their own personal struggles and journeys. And of course, we've all been through our own personal journeys and struggles before making the leap into coaching. So, I mean, I found that specifically with the women I'm speaking to, that there was a catalyst moment for them that propelled them into the world of coaching to become a coach. So can you share a little bit about some of your own journey, and was there that catalyst moment for you that led you right into coaching?
Oh, this is a really good question. So for me, it wasn't a catalyst moment so much as I had audiences who had just heard me speak come up to me and say, "Hey, Jenn, that was amazing. Great content that you just shared. How do I work with you?" So I had an audience that was wanted to do something with the information I shared with them. So that was my entry point to coaching. I had recently graduated with a master's degree in leadership, and I had learned about coaching through that program. I never knew that coaching, aside from sports coaching, was a thing
Yeah.
prior to that. So the world of coaching was completely new to me. But I had people from my audiences who had heard me speak want to do something, want to implement, wanted to take action. And I felt it was not fair of me to just leave them and be like, "Yeah, go figure it out. I don't know."
Yeah. And so how have those experiences, or that experience particular, how did that shape the Jen you are, both personally and professionally?
So I'm not a patient woman. And I usually just take action before I have all the information. And I'm a research nerd. I will gather so much information your head will spin. That comes from my research background, my investigations background. I get all the info and I constantly know what's available. But I take action without waiting for permission. And that's one reason that people say, "Jenn, why are you so confident?" I'm like, "Because I just tried something and it happened to work." That's how I lost 100 pounds. I'm like, "I'll try this thing." And a month later, I was 20 pounds lighter. So I'm like, "Okay, if that worked, let's try this other thing." But that means that I don't always wait. And for my friends in human design, I am not an expert on human design by any means, but I'm a manifesting generator, which means that I need to kind of wait for some permission to see what will resonate with people. So I've had to learn that the hard way through a bunch of failed launches, a bunch of programs that I had excitement around, but nobody purchased. And those are the things you'll learn as a coach, right? You'll launch things, or an entrepreneur, you'll launch things, you'll put your work out there to crickets.
Mhm.
And because I'm like Dora and I never give up, I keep trying. But that was a hard lesson for me to learn. There is a market for that. I had proof of that because people were coming up to me. But how I was addressing that market has shifted over the years. So that was the biggest lesson I learned, I believe.
Okay. And so how have your personal experiences shaped your coaching philosophy and approach?
One of the big ones, and this is something that not everyone outside of coaching might be aware of, but coaching is actually permission based. And this is what that means. Sometimes if you've worked with a coach before and had a negative experience, it's because it wasn't coaching. It was mentoring and training where they said, "This is my process and procedure. Take my process and work it for yourself or for your business." That's not true. Coaching is where you guide and facilitate. So if my client is asking me for an answer on something, it's not my job to give them an answer. I can share from my personal experiences, but I will make it clear within that coaching conversation that, is it okay for me to share some things that I've seen work for people? Like, you have to ask permission for
Mhm.
certain levels so you're not overstepping your boundaries as a coach. And that's really important to me. I've had people, I'm the youngest of 4 children. So I've had people give me advice my entire life. My older siblings would say, "Jenn, you should do this." My teachers would say, "Jenn, you should do that." My parents are saying, "Jenn, we want you to become the next president of the United States." You have a lot of people telling you what to do. And if you're a person who's, "I don't like when people tell me what to do," then coaching might be a great fit for you. So that's why coaching was a strong fit for me.
Okay. Now, what would you say are the three most important lessons you've learned as a coach, and how have they helped your growth as a speaking coach?
Learned a lot through coaching. I think one of the things that surprised me in the beginning, so I started coaching before I became trained in coaching. And what really surprised me was I've not had any clients ask me, what school did you go to? What is your certification through? Like my clients really don't need to know that information. Neither do they ask for that information.
Mhm.
So when I did get a certification, which was back in 2021, it was because that's what I wanted for my own personal development. So it's important to know you can still coach people without certification. But for me, in order to tap into the coaching industry and learn from others, it required certification. So for those of you who are like, should I not do certification? That's totally up to you. Your clients probably won't ask you. For me personally, it's just something I love doing because that's one of my top strengths is
Right.
learning and getting to that next level.
Mhm.
The second thing I would say would probably have to do around finding tools and resources to help my clients get to that next level. And usually it's tools and resources you already have. Sorry to say. But if you're an active listener, that means you don't just listen so you can speak back to someone. You're listening for what they're telling you, also what they're not telling you. I sometimes draw from my intuition or from observing cues from my clients. If we're on a video call, I'll observe their body language, their eyebrows. And those are also things I learned from my fraud investigations background because you can tell someone's lying based on body language. Now, not that my clients are lying, but
Yeah.
it's good to see those cues and to understand, oh, maybe they've got something coming up here.
Mhm.
And the third thing I would say about coaching is I am continually fascinated by all the amazing flavors of coaches we have out there. The other day, I met an ideas coach. So she helps you take an idea and bring it to fruition. I've met ADHD coaches who help people who are neurodivergent figure out like how to navigate the world in a way that's for their unique way of looking at the world.
Mhm.
I've met so many cool coaches over the past 10 years that, I mean, what a rich world we live in, right? For any
Mhm.
problem you have out there, there's probably going to be someone who can coach you through how to get to that next stage.
Yeah, for sure. I just interviewed, was it Monday? Yeah, Monday, an alcohol-free coach.
Oh,
She
how
helps people
cool.
become alcohol-free.
Yeah, that's so
So
cool.
you're right. There's so many different coaches, so many coaches out there that I never even knew existed. There's a coach for that? What? I had no
There's an
idea
app
there
for
was
that. There's a coach.
alcohol-free coaches. Like but apparently people need the help, so that's good. I mean, as long as they're out there helping people, great. Whatever your lane is, whatever your area of expertise is, sure, why not?
To know too, because you might be thinking if you're looking to go alcohol free, shouldn't you go to therapy or counseling?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I personally go to this therapy. I have that for a while. I have great respect for the therapy, people who do therapy. It's
Mhm.
hard work.
Yeah.
It's a different type of work that's actually complementary to coaching.
Right.
Sometimes me and a therapist will like partner in how we're supporting an individual if we happen to be in the same room. Like I try to keep quiet because it's their session, not mine.
Yeah.
But our skills complement each other so well. But therapy is like helping you process and create awareness, whereas
Mhm.
coaching is helping you figure out your goals around things, future oriented, and how to get there and that accountability piece. But we really complement each other. So I just think that's great.
Yeah, it is awesome. How has your coaching style evolved to where you are now from when you first started?
So in the beginning, because I was not trained in ethics and responsibilities around the coaching industry in general, I was giving a lot of solutions and advice to people, especially because I was working with them on health related topics. Now, I always intuitively knew on some level that I didn't want to align with any particular type of eating. So when I first became a health coach, it was all about keto and Whole30 were the diets that were strongly fad at that time. And so I never suggested a specific diet. In fact, I worked with clients who had very specific medical reasons why they had to eat what they had to eat. So I was agnostic in terms of here's how you need to eat in order to lose weight. So I worked with my clients on what they were hoping to do. But really, what I was supporting them with was not on eat this, exercise this way, but helping them set those small, tiny habits. So I did give too much advice in the beginning. I will fully admit this. My clients still achieved the results they were looking for and still were able to do it within their own boundaries. But I do know that sometimes I would go to a coaching session with a client and be like, how about this thing we talked about? I did keep them accountable as well, but I might have been a little too hard on the A, B, and C. I'm very
Yeah.
technical.
Yeah. What lights you up or inspires you the most about the work you do as a coach?
I think there's nothing more beautiful than someone who is passionate about their mission and is able to express that passion in front of a group of people. It makes me feel good. It makes them feel good. It makes the audience feel good. And if we can all feel better just by sharing the same space with each other and by exploring a topic that's important to us, what better thing is there in life?
Yeah, very true. What would you say is your greatest strength as a speaking coach?
In the speaking industry, there are coaches who help you with presentation skills. Like they'll
Mhm.
help you develop the presentation, sell from the stage, all of those kinds of things. Then there are the coaches who help you with the business side of speaking, book more business, spin off and referral business. They have whole programs around that. I do a little bit of both. So I combined the gaps that I was missing when I first started my speaking business into a comprehensive program with a coaching flair. So again, I'm not going to be like, here's a list of 200 leads for you to start reaching out to. I help you create a system of looking and researching and finding and booking your own leads, but I don't just give you a list and say, go at it, have fun with it. That didn't help me and it doesn't help any of my clients. But I also help you with the presentation side of it as well. A lot of presentations I do are virtual. I'm not the huge keynote in front of an auditorium of thousands of people kind of speaker.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind a gig like that, but that's
sure.
not typically what I look for. So a
Mhm.
lot of the clients I work with are looking for more intimate settings, retreats, masterminds, virtual, because they can't travel as much.
Right.
And so there are plenty of stages and opportunities that way. So I can help you not just do a better virtual presentation, because many of us kind of just figured things out, but it's not the
Yeah.
best way you could do it.
Mhm.
And I can help you also find those stages.
Beautiful. Now, how have your personal experiences as a speaker influenced your coaching methods?
So I'm a coach, but I'm also a speaker who is on the ground running. One thing that I've been exploring a lot in the past year is how to utilize more coaching techniques when I'm speaking. And to give you a specific example of this, typically when you're doing a webinar, a masterclass, whatever you're offering, there's a section in which you're sharing the invitation to take it to the next level. So an
Right.
offer, a program. And typically I would have this slide up with all the details on it and things like that. I didn't do that this time. I put the slides down. It was just me talking to the camera and looking at my people who were attending there with me and just having a conversation. And I think sometimes we get burnt out with all of these. We know there's an offer on a webinar, a masterclass. We know there's
Mhm.
going to be something that we're going to be invited to. It's going to cost money. We
We're going to be
understand it.
sold to.
Exactly. And that's okay.
Mhm.
But it's different when someone's just having a one-to-one conversation with you. And that's unique in the virtual space because it looks like it's just you and that person in the room together. So I wanted to make it more intimate and more heart-centered
Mhm.
because that's what's important to me. I don't want to sell a bunch of people. I want to work with the people who are excited to take that next step.
Yeah, I think that's stepping into your authenticity and who you are. I think people appreciate that, and that's what people are looking for is authenticity and relatability. And if they feel like they're constantly being sold to, and I don't want any part of this shit. I didn't come here to be constantly sold to. Like you said, we all know when you attend a masterclass, there's going to be a pitch coming. That, but if the person or people giving the class are engaging and authentic, and you get that vibe that you're relatable, you're going to be more likely to go ahead and take the leap and spend the money with them. That it's
Yeah, I'm
not all
also,
about the sale, right?
it's not all about the sale. In fact, I fully acknowledge that most people who are on my classes, if this is the first time they've met me, it's highly unlikely that they're going to work with me. And that's okay because they might show up for something else that I'm
Yeah.
offering. My goal is to make sure that they received something that they were looking for within that time we spent together. And if I've done that, then I'm good to go. And I hope that they can take what they've learned and work it.
Yeah, apply it. Absolutely, for sure. What has been one of the biggest highlights of your career up to this point as a speaker and as a speaking coach?
Ooh, so in January, I found out that Influence Digest voted me top 15 coaches in Minneapolis. So there's what, 500,000 people living in Minneapolis. So I was like, this is
Congratulations.
kind of a big honor. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And one other thing that happened back in 2022. So kind of fresh out of the pandemic and all that
Mhm.
stuff. I was nominated top 3 coaches through International Association of Women. And this is the first time I'd been recognized by an organization for my coaching. So that was a big deal. But even better than that was they had a gala where they were awarding the finalists and celebrating us and things like that. So it was in Las Vegas. And I've
Wow.
been to Vegas many times. My husband has been. My children had not yet been to Las Vegas. So I brought my entire family with me. It was around my birthday, so that felt good too.
There you go.
And we went to Vegas. We had some fun, and they were also able to come to the dinner with me and celebrate. It was so
Awesome.
fun. Yeah, I had a great time with
Beautiful.
them.
Sounds like an amazing moment. A highlight for sure. What are some of the most common fears or challenges your clients face when it comes to public speaking, and how do you help them overcome these obstacles?
Actually, a lot of my clients are quite comfortable with public
Oh,
speaking.
good.
The challenges they tend to have are they find a bunch of free speaking, but they don't know how to monetize that free speaking. So here's an example of how that could play out. Supposing your friend invites you to their stage and they said, I want you to present on this topic. Yes, absolutely. I can present on that topic. But are you thinking about how you can invite people to take the next step with you? Usually that's a lead magnet. Are you thinking about what transformation you want to show them that you can provide to them? Are you thinking about what the conversation looks like after you're done speaking? If you're not thinking about those things, then yes, it makes sense that nobody's talking to you, connecting with you, wanting to have another conversation with you. That's one of the challenges. The other challenge is people who say, I'm doing okay in this business thing. I've got clients, things are going good. How do you get paid to show up and speak? Because that's a whole nother process. And you do have to be very intentional about that. There's a lot of competition for paid speaking. And there are people who make their entire living as
Mhm.
professional speakers. They may not even offer anything beyond professional speaking. So
Yeah.
you're competing with the big people, the people who know what they're doing or have someone that they hired to do the work for them to find the speaking engagements.
Mhm.
So that's really hard to break into that industry if you know nothing about it. So that's where people tend to be stuck when they come to me.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the whole pay to play thing? I'm curious.
Oh my gosh. So personally, I don't do it. However, it's not that I wouldn't if it was the perfect audience for me. I know a lot of people who host big events. One's in Ireland, one is here in New York. Quite a few people in my network do host these large events,
Mhm.
but it's never been a fit for me. And when you were paying to play on the stage, it also is not necessarily, it's like a sell fest, right? A pitch fest. And
Mhm.
as an audience member, I don't want to attend that kind of event. So if it's not an
Yeah.
event that I wouldn't personally attend, I'm like, I probably don't want to be the person who is beating people over the head with this different pitch. And I would feel like I would need to in order to get the
Yeah.
ROI.
Those types of events, I guess one of the only ways would be if there's corporations, companies who are looking for speakers for their corporations and to come in and give talks. That would be a pay to play that's worth it. But you're right. If it's okay, you got to pay to be on our stage. Here's where you can make money is if you sell. No, thanks. That doesn't entice me.
And
No,
then if
like you
they're
said, there's no
offering
ROI.
there's no ROI. If they have multiple people who are paying for that stage, you're then competing with those people, whatever they're offering, or you don't know
Yeah.
who they are till you arrive, which
Yeah.
I like to know who's going to be in the room with me.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I was just curious about that because I hear a lot of people talk about pay to plays. So I was just curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
What are a couple of key tips or takeaways that you could provide for individuals who are listening right now that they can use to improve their speaking skills, even if they're starting from scratch from the very beginning?
When I'm working with clients, we work first on what do you want public speaking to do for you? So some people are very clear, right? They say, I want to do a TED talk, or I want to speak so that I can invite people into my programs or sell more books. Start with why you're speaking. If you are a motivational or inspiration speaker, you might just want to share your story as like a testimonial or something like, this is my experience. And you may not want to monetize it, which is perfectly okay. I wasn't trying to monetize my speaking in the very, very beginning. I was just doing it through Toastmasters. So understand what your goal for speaking is. If it's to improve your delivery or get reps in front of an audience and kind of figure out what people are enjoying or what they resonate with, totally okay. But we always start with what is your goal for this public speaking? And once you know what your goal is, then you know how to create the right structure for your speech. When I'm working with people, I always encourage you to have a single speech. So it's a signature speech.
Mhm.
And this signature speech is the hardest thing that you can do because you have to isolate just one main area that you help people with. And that can be difficult if you're multi-passionate. You have
Mhm.
many different ways you can support people. Coaching is kind of agnostic. Sometimes you can help people in business or life or leadership, all sorts of different ways.
Yeah.
But you do have to filter it down and edit it down to a single speech so that you can then brand yourself as an expert within that area.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
What new skills or techniques do you believe will be essential for public speakers in the coming years in the industry?
I still think there's opportunity for people to deliver better virtual programs. So maybe that means you hire an event producer who can kind of handle the back end administrative piece of it as you're presenting. I think there's many opportunities for creative techniques during presenting. That means like no slides if you're live in the room with people. That means maybe you're using props or different types of performance or comedic types of technique when you're on stage. Improv is big on stage. If you can incorporate any sort of humor, I'm not one of those humorous speakers. I do my best, but I'm not up there telling stand-up
Telling
jokes or anything
jokes.
like
Yeah.
that. Oh my God, that's so hard. That's my fear, actually. And a lot of people who are okay speaking get scared by the idea of improv because improv is the opposite of preparing a presentation. So I think some of these skills are definitely going to be worthwhile in the future. And I think it's also important to be flexible and creative. So the structure of speaking on stages has shifted dramatically over the past decade or so. In the old days, you kind of buy lists and you make phone calls and things like that. But a lot of people are prospecting now on social media, through podcast opportunities, through radio spots. There's more opportunity. And you can even just take your phone and start recording yourself. We have more opportunities for getting our message out there before getting in front of the right people. So I think there's many opportunities there for how you connect.
Yeah.
And once you get on stage, how you deliver.
What are a couple of lessons that you've learned in your career as a coach that you've implemented and leveraged in your own speaking career?
Presence is really big in coaching. And so presence, I think, translates to authenticity when you're on stage. You mentioned it earlier that when you're doing the heart-led conversation with people in a virtual setting, that makes you appear authentic. Now, I personally don't believe anyone can show up inauthentically as a speaker because you literally are showing up as you are. Like there's no way to put on a fake persona when you're speaking. You might perform a little bit differently than you would if you're just having a conversation with someone, but that doesn't mean you're being inauthentic. So presence in a coaching relationship is you not having an agenda, which is really hard to do in the speaking world because you know exactly what you're talking about. You've prepared it.
Yeah.
So the ways you can be present and authentic on stage have to do with your engagement with your audience. And most speakers love this the most when they're in a room with people is the energy they're receiving from people.
They feed off of it.
They do. We're looking at your body language. We're looking at if you're standing, if you're clapping, if you're looking at your phone. That's all feedback.
Yeah.
That's really important to being present and to notice what's there.
What do you think is the most critical factor in achieving long-term success and satisfaction as a speaker?
Oh, I love that you broke out success versus satisfaction. I'm going to have to think about that after this interview is done. I'm going to have to journal around that, Brad. Way to challenge me on this one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, that's different. Okay, so let's enter the success side of that because I feel like I have a better handle on that than the satisfaction side, but more to come on that one. Success as a speaker. So that goes hand in hand with what your goals were.
Right.
So for me, when I'm speaking on stage, I usually get paid. I usually have an opportunity to offer people to take the next step with me, whatever that looks like. And I also probably want to receive video footage, have the event promote me, those types of things. That would be considered success. Of course, receiving great testimonials feels amazing and is something you could share with other clients. And just having one person. Speakers often say, if I impact one person, then this was a success. So whether they come up to you and tell you afterwards or show up in your community later on, you are impacting people one speech at a time. So that is definitely a measurement of success. Satisfaction, I think I'm going to have to take a pause on.
All right. No problem. What is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life like after learning it?
Actually, I am a talker, as I'm sure you've gathered. I'm a verbal processor. Sometimes you have to shut up.
That speaks to the listening piece, right?
Sometimes you just have to shut up and pause. And so this is something you can use in coaching, speaking in your life. But how it played out in my life is trying to solve things for people, my loved ones. So I have children who sometimes go nonverbal if they're very frustrated. And I used to try to like talk it out with them to let's fix this. What's the problem? Get to the root cause, doing all this talking. And I was overwhelming them even more. So being able to pay attention to, yeah, that might be how I handle this situation, but what do they need in this moment? And for me, maybe it was just sitting side by side and just shutting up.
Self-awareness. It's huge.
Yes, very
Huge.
much.
It's a practice skill, that's for sure.
Mhm.
What is an unexpected blessing or occurrence in your life that you're grateful for?
I'm very grateful for the fact that I married a man from Calcutta. And that means I've been able to travel to India multiple times and meet his folks out there, that my children have experienced the eastern side of the hemisphere, which is very different from the US. I've always had a love for travel. I studied abroad when I was in school and I speak several languages, but I didn't know that as an adult, I would get to experience worldwide travel and share it with my children as well. We're a mixed family. So I'm Hispanic. My kids are mixed Indian, Hispanic, white, all the things. And so it's really important for me for them to stay true to their roots and know more about their culture. We're working on the language thing. We haven't got quite to the language thing. They don't speak Bengali. That's okay. It's a progression and it has to be something they're interested in. But it's really important for me that the most important thing you can do is develop perspective beyond your own world or your own bubble. And worldwide travel really helps with that.
Yeah, there's so much out there to experience. I mean, you can read about places in a book and study them and learn all about cultures from a book, but nothing even comes close to comparing to actually being there and traveling. I think that is one of the greatest experiences in life, is to travel. Go see as much as you possibly can. There is so much out there.
And it's all beautiful in its own way. You just get a greater appreciation for everything in your own life and other people's lives.
Absolutely. Who in your life has had the biggest impact on you and why?
Biggest impact. I mean, I've had many people in my life that made an impact on me. My grandma Espinosa, she motivated me because she used to pick cotton in the fields in Texas. Like, she had an 8th grade education and had 6 children. Her husband died when he was in his early 40s from a heart attack. So she basically raised her 6 children on her own with limited English skills, limited education. Her children were great. And she just was there for every major life event in my life. She passed away when I was just before I graduated college. She beat death many times. She was a very religious, very spiritual person. And she used to tell me all the time, Jen, I pray for you. And I miss her. I miss her prayers. I miss her presence. So she was one of my early inspirations. My father also, he passed away 7 years ago now, but he was also an inspiration. He used to tell me, Jen, you're going to be the first woman president of the United States. And so far, nobody has beat me to that. Not that I want to be a politician.
It's still possible.
It's still possible for me. Who knows what the future holds? But no, he used to tell me, you can do anything you put your mind to. And I believed him. And I think that's part of why I have confidence today.
Love it. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I think I seek to understand people before I seek to be understood. And sometimes that bites me in the butt, but often it's an enriching experience. I really want to know where people are coming from, why they're coming from that place. And I am always curious. I was curious before I became a coach. That's often a signpost of being a good coach, is curiosity. But I was curious from the beginning. My best question that I've always asked my entire life and annoyed everyone with is why?
Curiosity is a beautiful thing. We all need curiosity. That's how we learn. Asking questions. It's funny because kids, that's all. Why this? Why that? But why? But why? But why? We could take a page from that and learn, because I think that we forget what it's like being a kid. It gets suppressed, it gets pushed down, and we forget what it's like to be a kid, when we should embrace that curiosity, embrace those childlike character traits, because we had them. We were kids. So why not go back to, it's okay to act like a kid every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. We need to, I think. People take life too fucking serious. They do. We need to relax a little bit and have fun. Life is short.
Yeah. And when you start questioning things that you've never questioned before, you might be willing to see it differently and to be like, oh,
Exactly.
I didn't know this was possible. Or, oh, when did this open up for me?
Yeah.
Just because you asked the question.
That's right. 100%. Absolutely. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
We could look at the dimensions of wellness, which is something I'm very familiar with. So the different dimensions would be physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual, career. And I'm going to miss a few of them. But, there are many different areas of our life that we probably want to obtain success in. And one of the takeaways I had from all the health coaching I did back in the past is you can have anything you want, just not all at once.
Yeah.
So what I would say in terms of success is being a very ambitious, highly motivated person is there will be times in your life where you do not have success in some dimensions of your life. And that's okay, because you will have a time where you're going to reach success in that thing. So I would say focus on one item at a time, which is really hard. I get it. We're multitaskers. We don't like to do that. But the more you focus in on what's most important for you right now, the more likely you're going to achieve all the success in those other areas of your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Presence. Again, it's about being present. What does the word empowerment mean to you, Jenn?
I love this word. It's interesting because it's almost like a calling us back to ourselves. Just by being born and having a life and being on earth, you have power. And I think as children, we exercise that power more frequently than we do as adults. At some point, we've been told that we no longer have power, or we tell ourselves that. Maybe it's both. You already have power in you. It's just a matter of finding it and rediscovering it and exploring it. So empowerment is where you have that reminder. And that reminder can come from many different places. People in your life. It could come from God or the universe, whatever language you use around that. It could come from a chance meeting on a random day, like a coincidence. But it's a reminder that, oh, you are already innately powerful. You just kind of forgot along the way. So here's a reminder to you. So for me, empowerment is that spark. It's that initial aha. Oh, that's right. This is reminding me that I'm already powerful.
Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4-word answer type thing. Okay. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Curious.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
In one word?
A couple words. It's okay.
Okay. Being in water.
There you go. That's okay. Yeah. 1 to 4, 5 words. Just keep it short. That's all. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Empowerment.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Happiness.
What is one thing that you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
Caring.
And that concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created and threw in a bonus question that I did not send to you ahead of time.
Ooh.
If you could take one feeling or one belief and bottle it and give it to people, what would that be?
Belief.
Beautiful. What is your why?
I was in a conversation with a coach the other day. He and I have known each other for a bit, but he said, he and I were talking about purpose. And we were both sharing that purpose is a loaded thing, right? It feels heavy. It feels overwhelming sometimes. So he said, life purpose now, or life meaning, right? So I don't have a why necessarily, but I have a life meaning for right now. And that is to touch as many people as I can to help them remember their innate power.
If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
You really threw me with this one.
That's 2. I love it. That's 2.
Oh, yeah. You're trying to throw me off, aren't you? You're doing a good job so far.
Thank you.
How about this? If you could be any comic book character, which one would you be?
Okay, tell us.
And then I would love to know your answer as well. I'm going to turn the tables on you. Okay, so one of my favorite comic book characters is Rogue, which let's explore this a little bit. So Rogue is from X-Men. And in her power, she basically takes on everyone else's energy, power, whatever. She leeches it out of them so much when she touches them. All she wants to do is touch others and be close to others. And that's the one thing she cannot have. I think that is both sad and both a full expression of what humans want, is to be heard, acknowledged, and touched.
100%. Oh, man, me. Fuck, I don't know.
It could be cartoon character too, if you want.
The first thing that came to mind when you said was Charlie Brown. I don't know why.
Charlie Brown. Okay.
I have no idea why, but that's what came to mind. That's the first thing that came to mind when I heard you ask that. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with the first thing. So there you go. Charlie Brown. I get the football pulled out from under me all the time by Lucy.
Do you have a Snoopy too?
No, I don't. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
The woman who tried to become the first American president, Hillary Clinton.
And why?
I'm fascinated by Hillary. So I've read her books. I studied her because my BA was in political science. It was international relations, but so many classes were in political science. And I'm not a politician, but I appreciate her lifelong service in politics. She has done so many great things. And I've always been curious about why people don't like her. I don't understand why people don't like her. I think she's a great person. I think maybe she comes off the wrong way. And I suspect there's some psychology there too, as to why people think she's mean or arrogant or dismissive, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. It just fascinates me to know that she's a powerful woman and she's really not liked. That's an interesting thing that I think women deal with when they reach places of power or authority. There's that opportunity to also be disliked. And I think some women who are listening maybe feel that on a different level too.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I wouldn't, because my younger self would not have listened.
There we go. If we're being honest.
We're being completely honest here. My younger self is stubborn and does not want another person telling them what to do.
Okay. We'll go with that then. Lastly, Jen, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
It would have a lot of silence. It would have some, whatever you want to call them, truth bombs or mic drop moments, but not too many. Distilling a message down to 30 seconds is actually the hardest thing you could possibly do. At the end of the day, that 30 seconds will include something that touches hearts. And that could be tears, laughter, whatever. But that's what I would design that speech to do.
Okay. Beautiful. Jen, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. I appreciate you. It's been a pleasure, a laugh, inspirational, educational, all the things. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your time with me, sharing your story, your journey, and the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. I'm honored to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you.
You and me, Charlie Brown.
Thank you. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Jenn Espinosa Goswami. She is a certified public speaking coach who helps service-based entrepreneurs leverage their leadership through paid public speaking. Thanks so much, Jen. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca, follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast, and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.